Right now, millions of neurons in your brain are firing in the exact same patterns they fired yesterday, last week, and last month. These neural pathways have become superhighways of habit, carving deeper grooves with every repetition. But here's what's remarkable. Every single one of those pathways can be rerouted, rebuilt, and optimized. The question isn't whether you can start a new life. The question is whether you understand the precise mechanisms that make transformation inevitable. The human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each capable of forming thousands of connections. When we talk about starting a new life, we're really talking about strategically rewiring this 3-pound biological supercomputer that sits between your ears. This isn't wishful thinking or positive psychology, this is hard neuroscience, and it's the most powerful tool you'll ever possess. Let me be clear about something from the start. Transformation is not comfortable. It's not supposed to be. Every time you step outside your current behavioral patterns, your brain interprets this as a threat to your survival. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, will fire stress signals designed to pull you back to familiar territory. Understanding this mechanism is crucial because it means the discomfort you feel when changing isn't a sign you're doing something wrong, it's evidence you're doing something right. The first protocol for neural rewiring involves what neuroscientists call deliberate discomfort. When you voluntarily expose yourself to controlled stress, whether through cold exposure, challenging workouts, or pushing through mental resistance, you're activating specific neural circuits that build resilience. The key word here is controlled. We're not talking about trauma or overwhelming stress, but precise, intentional challenges that signal to your brain that you're capable of adaptation. Here's where most people get it wrong. They try to change everything at once. They overload their prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for executive function and decision-making. When you exhaust this neural real estate with too many simultaneous changes, you create what researchers call decision fatigue. Your brain defaults back to automatic behaviors, and transformation becomes impossible. The solution is what I call the single variable protocol. Choose one specific behavior that you want to change and focus your neural energy exclusively on that target for 90 days. Why 90 days? Because that's approximately how long it takes for new neural pathways to become myelinated, wrapped in a fatty substance that makes signal transmission faster and more efficient. After 90 days of consistent practice, your new behavior begins to feel automatic rather than effortful. But here's the crucial part: timing matters. Your brain operates on circadian rhythms, with different neurotransmitters and hormones peaking at specific times throughout a 24-hour cycle. Cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone, naturally peaks in the morning, making this the optimal time for challenging tasks that require willpower. Attempting to implement new behaviors when your neurochemistry is working against you is like trying to swim upstream. The most powerful transformation happens when you align your efforts with your biology. Morning light exposure triggers the release of cortisol and dopamine, creating an ideal neurochemical environment for taking on difficult tasks. This is why successful people often report their most important work happens in the first few hours after waking. They're not more disciplined, they're more strategic about leveraging their neurobiology. Now, let's talk about identity. Your sense of self isn't fixed. It's constantly being updated based on the evidence you provide your brain through your actions. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you're literally strengthening neural circuits associated with self-efficacy and personal integrity. Conversely, every time you break a promise to yourself, you're reinforcing patterns of self-doubt and inconsistency. This is why small wins matter so much in the transformation process. When you complete a challenging workout, meditate for 10 minutes, or read instead of scrolling social media, you're not just performing an action, you're casting a vote for the type of person you're becoming. Your brain keeps score of these votes, and over time they accumulate into a new sense of identity. The dopamine system plays a crucial role in this process. Dopamine isn't actually about pleasure, it's about prediction and motivation. It's released not when you achieve a goal, but when you anticipate achieving it. This is why the journey of transformation can become addictive in the best possible way. Each small success triggers a dopamine release that motivates you toward the next challenge. However, our modern environment constantly hijacks this system through digital stimulation, processed foods, and instant gratification. Before you can effectively rewire your brain for positive change, you need to reset your dopamine baseline. This means periods of deliberate deprivation from high stimulation activities, what some researchers call a dopamine fast. During these periods, your brain recalibrates its reward thresholds, making smaller, healthier rewards feel more satisfying. Sleep is perhaps the most underestimated factor in neural rewiring. During sleep, particularly during slow-wave sleep phases, your brain consolidates the neural changes you've created during waking hours. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired, it actively prevents the synaptic strengthening that makes new behaviors stick. If you're serious about transformation, optimizing your sleep architecture is non-negotiable. The research on sleep and learning is unambiguous. People who get adequate, high-quality sleep show significantly greater improvements in skill acquisition and behavioral change compared to those who are sleep-deprived. This means your evening routine is just as important as your morning routine in the transformation process. Stress, when properly managed, becomes your ally in rewiring. Acute stress triggers the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that essentially fertilizes your neurons and promotes the growth of new connections. This is why challenging workouts, cold exposure, or pushing through mental resistance can accelerate positive changes in your brain. The key is ensuring that stress is followed by recovery, allowing your nervous system to adapt and strengthen. The concept of hormesis, the idea that small doses of stress make you stronger, applies directly to personal transformation. Each time you voluntarily do something difficult, you're building what researchers call stress inoculation. You're teaching your brain that you can handle challenge and discomfort, which increases your confidence in tackling bigger changes. Social environment plays a massive role in neural rewiring. Mirror neurons in your brain automatically mimic the behaviors and emotional states of people around you. This means that the people you spend time with literally influence your neural patterns. If you're surrounded by people who embrace growth and challenge, your brain will naturally adapt to these patterns. If you're surrounded by negativity and stagnation, you'll find transformation significantly more difficult. This doesn't mean you need to abandon everyone in your life, but it does mean you need to be strategic about who gets your mental energy. Seek out environments and relationships that support the version of yourself you're becoming, not the version you're trying to leave behind. Visualization, when done correctly, can accelerate neural rewiring. But this isn't about daydreaming or wishful thinking. Effective visualization involves mentally rehearsing specific behaviors in specific contexts with vivid sensory detail. When you visualize performing a new behavior, you're literally activating the same neural circuits that fire when you perform the behavior in reality. This mental rehearsal strengthens the neural pathways associated with your desired changes. The most successful people don't just visualize outcomes, they visualize the process. They mentally rehearse handling obstacles, pushing through resistance, and maintaining consistency even when motivation is low. This type of mental training builds what psychologists call implementation intentions, specific plans for how you'll respond to challenges. Measurement and tracking become crucial for sustained transformation. Your brain responds to feedback, and without clear metrics, you're essentially flying blind. This doesn't mean obsessing over every detail, but it does mean having objective ways to assess your progress. Whether it's tracking workouts, measuring sleep quality, or monitoring mood patterns, Data provides the feedback loops that keep your transformation on track. The most powerful transformations happen when you understand that you're not trying to fix something broken, you're upgrading a system that's already incredibly sophisticated. Your brain is constantly adapting based on your inputs. The only question is whether you're directing that adaptation consciously or letting it happen by default. Starting a new life isn't about becoming a different person, it's about becoming the person you already are at your highest potential. Every human brain contains the circuitry for resilience, focus, courage, and growth. These aren't special traits reserved for exceptional people. They're basic features of human neurobiology that can be developed through proper training. The time for transformation is now, not because of some arbitrary timeline or external pressure, but because your brain is ready. The neuroplasticity that makes change possible doesn't diminish with age as dramatically as we once thought. Your capacity for rewiring, for building new patterns, for literally reshaping your brain structure remains available throughout your entire life. The protocols I've outlined aren't theoretical. They're practical tools backed by decades of neuroscience research. Your brain responds to consistency, challenge, and strategic recovery. It responds to proper sleep, morning light, and controlled stress. It responds to clear goals, social support, and regular feedback. Most importantly, your brain responds to your decision to take control of your own neural architecture. The moment you commit to deliberately directing your brain's adaptation process, you've already begun the transformation. Every day you apply these protocols, you're not just changing your behaviors, you're literally rewiring the neural circuits that determine who you are and who you're becoming. The new life you want isn't waiting for you somewhere in the future. It's being constructed right now, one neural connection at a time, through the choices you make and the actions you take. Your brain is constantly changing. The only question is whether you're directing that change or letting it happen by accident. The science is clear, the protocols are proven, and your brain is ready. The only variable left is your commitment to applying these principles consistently over time. Your transformation isn't just possible, it's inevitable when you align your efforts with the fundamental principles of how your brain actually works. The science is clear, the protocols are proven, and your brain is ready. Don't let another day pass with your neural circuits running on autopilot. Implement the single variable protocol starting tomorrow morning when your cortisol peaks. Your transformation isn't just possible, it's inevitable when you stop hoping for change and start engineering it at the cellular level. These hooks grab attention by immediately addressing the viewer's brain state and promising exclusive, actionable knowledge. The call to action creates urgency while providing a specific next step, single variable protocol, and optimal timing, morning cortisol peak, making it highly actionable rather than just inspirational.